Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and if you just came across my channel, be sure to subscribe because we got a lot of epic builds. But guys, the Camaro right now is having a really big issue. Alright guys, so the problem with the wiring harness here is that they don't make them, or they've never even started making them. They haven't been put into production yet. So these harnesses are really hard to get. So that's why I decided to go ahead and try to save these harnesses with a ZL1 wiring harness. And it kind of worked and it kind of didn't. So the chassis wiring harness, which is the biggest harness out of them all, luckily that one did get repaired and it works fine, and that one's completely fixed. But the engine wiring harness, it's too far gone for repair, so this one needs to be replaced. But locating this harness is going to be a really difficult task. I went to a dealership a few times and they said that it was basically like it didn't even exist. So they said that they're going to have to call GM and try to get a supplementary part number and try to get them to special make it or something. If that doesn't work, I'm just going to have to keep on trying to source it somewhere. So while that's going to be sitting out to the side, there's not much to do on this car until we find that harness, which we should be able to find it pretty soon. Alright guys, so we'll figure out how to fix that harness. I'm sure we'll get one. We've got the car this far, so there's nothing to worry about over there. But as for now, I'm sure you guys have been wondering what happened to that BMW M320i that we got that was extremely smashed up, and well, it's right here. So this BMW M320i is already in the paint stages. This car has had some tremendous progress done to it, and I'll show you guys everything that's been done to this car. It's almost wrapped up though. It's ready for paint. Everything has already had base coat laid down on it. It needs 1 or 2 more layers of base coat on it, and then I'm going to clear coat it. So as for now, let's get this thing slicked in, and then after we untarp the car, I'll show you what we've done to it. Alright guys, so the base coat is on, everything is spotless, no runs or anything, everything laid down super slick. So I'm going to quickly show you guys the base coat, and then we're going to go and put in 2 or 3 layers of clear coat. So let's take a look. So we got the bumper here nice and spotless, got the door here. I'm blending onto the door so the blend went well. We're just going to clear coat the whole thing now. Both fenders, the hood, the door, and then we had a little bit of touch-ups on the side skirts. So everything's looking super good. I even got the parking sensors and everything for the car. Got this nice M Sport bumper here. So now we're gonna throw on some clear coat. So let's do it. Alright guys, so I just wrapped up painting all the parts. These things got slicked in good. They all look super great. Let's take a look. So everything here is definitely going to need a good polish, but I'll say for a garage paint job, this came out pretty dang good. Only imperfection is there's just 2 runs. One there, one there. It's what it seems like. It's just 2 small, tiny little runs on the front bumper. That's the only imperfection on all the paint, so it doesn't really matter though. Everything's getting polished, and the blend went through smoothly on the door. The door's obviously going to need to get polished, but it all looks slick. Blend on this door also went through super smoothly. But before we go ahead and leave, let's just go ahead and untape the edges right here so the paint doesn't peel later on. Alright guys, so we're going to let this paint cure overnight, and we're going to check back on it tomorrow in the morning. Alright guys, so the paint is fully dry. It is currently the next day, and everything looks super slick. So obviously there's going to be a little bits of trash and everything in all the body panels and everything else that we've painted, because it is a garage paint job. But you get trash, and anywhere you paint you'll get a little bit of trash. So everything is going to be buffed out and polished to get that factory orange peel look on it, because everything does have a different kind of orange peely look right now, but it'll be smoothened out to match the original BMW look. And I blended onto this door, and you can't even tell where the blend happened. It looks super good. I even went ahead and I blended on this back door. Everything looks super good. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up the bay door, untarp the car, and see how everything looks with some sunlight on it. Alright guys, with the bay doors open, this bumper already starts to look so much better with some sunlight hitting on it right there. But now let's go ahead and untarp this car and then show you what we've done to it. Alright guys, so the car is fully untaped. Let's go ahead and put this fender on and see how the blend went. Alright guys, so all the body panels are on the car. Let's take a look. Alright guys, so I got everything on the car. Obviously, the gaps are still gonna have to be set. I've set them a little bit, but not all the way. As you can see, they're far from perfect right now. So we're gonna have to set all the body lines up, all the gaps and everything, get it all looking good. And this front bumper just looks absolutely aggressive. Just wait for some mods that we have for this front bumper. It's gonna look sick. And the blend on this door also went great onto this back door right here and came up over here. And guys, as for the interior, it is currently dismantled because of all the wet sanding that was happening with the painting, as well as all the airbags that we're putting in the car. And speaking of the airbag, this is the brand new steering wheel airbag for the car. And it'll just go right there into the steering wheel, but we'll install that later. Alright guys, now it's the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to talk about everything we've done to the car up to this point. So I'm sure you guys remember that this car was absolutely smashed when we first got it. It'll pop up a picture right here. So that was pretty bad. This was probably one of the worst damaged cars we've bought by far, and it's almost done and it looks great. So I'm gonna walk you through all the major things we've done to this car so far. Okay guys, so this frame on this passenger side was absolutely crumbled up to the aprons, up to the struts, the whole frame rail, everything was crushed. So some of you guys may know we went all the way to California to pick up a parts car for this car, and that car is the frame that we used. Not the entire frame, we just took the part that we needed and we put it on this car. And as you guys can see, it looks absolutely original. I went ahead and I painted this in too. There's going to be some adjustments needed on this upper piece right here to get those bolt holes to line up, but everything looks extremely great on the frame. The next major thing we did after framework was we put the whole engine and transmission in from the parts car. We completely swapped out the engine and transmission from the parts car because when we received this car, everything was crushed into the engine and we could tell that the engine was not good because the main crank pulley on the engine was bent, and when we tried to crank it, it would turn a little bit, then it would get caught. So that engine internally was just damaged. So we went ahead, we switched it out, and we just put the transmission in since it was connected. And this car did not start when we got it. So the next major thing we did with this car was get 2 brand new keys for it. And this car finally fired up. Now I would like to start the car to show you guys that it starts, but as usual, the battery is dead and I forgot the booster box. And then another major thing we did on this car was we swapped out the entire front drivetrain, the subframe, the power steering rack, and parts of the suspension components because they were just all bent up. And this is what is left of the parts car. So there's not much here. This is the original transmission from the BMW, and the interior is taken apart as well. So this is the interior right here. It's absolutely taken apart. So this parts car served good for what it was used for. We definitely got a lot of parts off of it, and the other BMW looks amazing. Guys, I even went ahead and I painted all the little miscellaneous things for the bumper. So we are officially done with all the painting. And then of course a bunch of other little things went along to putting this whole car together, like putting in the washer fluid bottle and topping off all the fluids and getting all the trim pieces in and everything else. So this car definitely took a lot to get to this stage, but I'm really happy on how it's coming along. And of course later we are gonna have to set gaps because these gaps are far from perfect. They're pretty bad right now. They're all gonna need to get adjusted. And we also need to buff and polish this paint, but it's pretty shiny right now, but it's just really orange peely. There's also little bits of trash in the paint, but we'll take care of all that. Mechanically, this car is great, but there is one issue. So when you start up the car and you try to put it in gear, the car does not go into gear. And I'm hoping that's just because something is unplugged. So we're going to go ahead and look under the center console. Hopefully we find something unplugged and then the car goes into gear. Now guys, I did go back and pick up the booster box, so you guys will definitely get to hear that startup today. Now after we get everything plugged up in that interior, hopefully it goes into gear. Yeah, so it still doesn't want to shift. Also seems to be no power steering. Alright guys, so no luck getting the car to go into gear, but that's okay because we still got it to start and we still got everything on this car painted. So we've made major progress in today's video. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for our next video and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.